Kate and Liam had just moved into their new home. It was a small, cozy cottage on the outskirts of town, surrounded by tall trees and quiet streets. The house was older, but it had a charm to it. Its creaky floors and the smell of wood gave it character. Kate was excited about the fresh start, but Liam, always a bit more cautious, felt uneasy. The first few days were normal. They unpacked, settled in, and enjoyed the peace of their new life. But then strange things began to happen. It started with the whispers. Late at night, Kate would lie awake, hearing soft voices coming from the walls. At first, she thought it was just her imagination, but the whispers grew louder each night. Liam didn't hear anything, but he noticed that Kate looked more tired every day. She would sit at the kitchen table, staring blankly at the walls, as though something was watching her. Then came the cold spots. In the middle of the night, Kate would wake up to find her breath fogging up in the air, even though the heat was on. The chill seemed to come from nowhere, creeping up her spine like icy fingers. She'd try to shake it off, but it was hard to ignore. It wasn't long before the object started moving. First, it was a mug that slipped off the counter and crashed to the floor. Then, it was the remote control flying across the room, landing perfectly in the center of the sofa. Liam tried to rationalize it all. An old house, shifting foundation, maybe even drafts causing things to fall. But Kate knew better. "I think we're being haunted," she said one evening, her voice trembling as she watched a painting on the wall slowly tilt, as if something invisible was playing with it. Liam didn't want to believe her, but the fear in her eyes made him wonder. He didn't want to lose her, but the house was starting to feel alive in a way he couldn't explain. That's when they decided to reach out to a paranormal expert. The woman who came was named Clara. She was older, with gray hair and deep-set eyes that looked as though they had seen too many things. She walked through the house slowly, pausing in each room, her expression unreadable. She seemed to feel something in the air, something Kate and Liam couldn't. "I can sense it," Clara said quietly, standing in the hallway where Kate had often felt the coldest. "There's a spirit here, a restless one. It's angry." Kate felt a shiver run down her spine. "What do we do? Can you help us?" Clara nodded. "I can perform a cleansing. But first, I need to know the history of this house. Spirits are tied to the past. If we can understand why it's angry, we can help it find peace." Kate and Liam sat with Clara as they talked about the house. They learned that it had once belonged to a family many years ago. A young woman, Lydia, had lived there with her husband and child. They had all mysteriously disappeared one night, never to be heard from again. No one knew what had happened to them. Clara's face grew more serious as she listened. "The spirit in this house is Lydia. She never left. She's trapped here, in her grief and anger." That night, Clara set up candles and symbols throughout the house, preparing for the ritual to release Lydia's spirit. She chanted softly, calling out to the ghost. As the air grew thick with tension, the whispers grew louder, and the temperature dropped to freezing. Then, the voice came. "Help me," it whispered from the darkness. Kate's heart raced. "What does she want?" she asked. "She wants justice," Clara said, her voice barely audible above the growing wind. "She wants the truth." Suddenly, the room exploded with sound. Doors slammed, windows rattled, and the whispers turned into screams. Kate and Liam held each other tightly, terrified, as the spirit fought against Clara's attempt to release her. Then, just as suddenly as it had started, everything went silent. The air was still, and the temperature returned to normal. The house felt different, lighter, almost peaceful. Lydia was gone, but as Clara prepared to leave, she turned to Kate and Liam with a strange look in her eyes. "There's something you should know," she said, voice shaking slightly. "I've done this for many years. I've helped spirits move on before. But the ghost you were dealing with wasn't Lydia." Kate's face paled. "What do you mean?" Clara's lips trembled as she spoke. The spirit in this house wasn't Lydia. It was the child. The child who disappeared with her. The child who was murdered. Kate stared at her in disbelief. But we saw the spirit of a woman. She spoke to us. She called for help. Clara nodded. Yes. But the child was using Lydia's voice. It wanted you to think it was her mother, because the child's spirit is trapped in a much darker place. It couldn't find peace until it fed on your fear. The room seemed to grow colder again, and a low giggle echoed through the walls. The twist in the tale wasn't over. Liam suddenly felt a sharp tug at his wrist, as though someone was pulling him. He turned to see Kate standing motionless, her eyes glazed over, a smile creeping onto her face. "Oh, no," Clara whispered, backing away slowly. "It's too late now. The child has claimed her." Kate's body jerked forward as if someone was puppeteering her eyes now completely dark. She turned to Liam, her voice now twisted and unfamiliar. "I'm not Lydia. I'm her," she whispered. "I've always been here, watching you." Liam screamed, but it was too late. The ghost had already taken hold. And now, it was his turn. The house stood still, silent once more, waiting for the next pair of souls to wander in. Because in the end, the ghost of the child never left. It simply needed to wait for the next person to fall prey to its whispering game.
If you like this video, subscribe our channel.